I was reading the book The Return of a King by William Dalrymple. It's a book in which a British author, William Dalrymple, has narrated the story of the first Anglo-Afghan war. After reading the book, I thought I should make a review and also share my thinking about the book. As usual, when I read these history books by British authors, I find their narration of history totally one-sided. They always give the British viewpoint and they try to show that we are very good and we were just very kind and we never did anything. So in this book also, the author has tried to create the story from his side, one-sided. And the British authors, they never admit this thing that Britain had no right over India, what they were doing in India. They were just robbing the people, stealing, looting, plundering, and the 31 famines during the British rule, which they called Raj, and they killed more people than Hitler and Stalin combined killed something like 200 million people in India. So why did the famines came? But these authors never mention these things. So this is the period of Afghan Anglo-Afghan War is 1830 and 1840s. And this is the period in which William Dalrymple also starts the story. One Afghan king, Shah Shuja, runs away, takes refuge with the East India Company. Then there's the Great Game that the British are playing. So, in my view, Great Game was the most stupid game that these people were playing. And now, today, if you look at it, you just say, what was the use of that game? But these British authors try to portray those that great game, what they call as a very adventurous game, and they were trying to contain Russia. And Russians were also what they're doing in subjugating other people and killing them and raping them. So when the British uh, thought that Russia might take hold of Afghanistan. They tried to preempt them and they tried to invade. They invaded Afghanistan, conquered it. But then things started going wrong. People stood up in rebellion and their army in retreat got crushed. So now, when the people they rebel against a foreign invader, these British authors, they write as if they are committing some crime. What crime those people were committing? They were just rebelling against a foreign invader who had no sympathy for them, who didn't want anything good for them. So why shouldn't they rebel? But these authors, they just, oh, they rebelled against us. They killed British. So what else they could do? First, you will rebel, so the other British they try to kill you. So in return, uh, they will also kill you. But there's they killed Europeans and this thing. So that means that the Afghan lives or the Indian lives are not as important as the European lives. So I read this book and I just thought that this author is just giving one-sided stories. He should have openly admitted Britain had no right to be in India, no right to be in Afghanistan. What they were doing was they are looting and plundering. In 1830, this is what the British were doing in India. They were forcing the Indians to sow poppy. Then they were converting that poppy into opium, and then they were taking it to China and smuggling it over there. And this is what they were creating their wealth. Now, if Pablo Escobar tried to do it in the 20th century, he was declared a drug lord. But when the British did it openly and brazenly, it was no, they, even today, when they talk about it, they don't feel ashamed of it. They should be ashamed of it. And British Empire was one of the most shameful empire in human history, and it will go down in human history as a shameful act. So, if you happen to read this book, this is that book. In the book, William Dalrymple, Return of a King. So, there's a Wikipedia page of it also. So, Britain was trying to subjugate the other people, robbing them, killing them. And once the Afghans rose up in rebellion and crushed their army, in return, they again invaded and then killed hundreds of thousands of Afghans, raped their women, sacked Kabul, razed everything. We were teaching them lesson. How dare they stand up against us? Anyway, this is the story, and uh, I would say that I had to record this review because I thought it's a one-sided story. British authors should openly apologize for the crimes that the British committed during the British colonial period. Their so-called Raj was nothing to be proud of. They should be ashamed of that thing. And where I lived there, Raj did not last more than lasted less than 100 years. And there are some areas that last even 60 years. Nobody remembers them now. There was just a 100-year period that they took advantage of the collapse of the Mughal Empire, collapse of the uh, central authority. They were very cunning and they just recruited the people into the India Company army, promising pension. Pension was a new thing in those days in India, and I would say people of India were naive in those days. After the collapse of the Mughal Empire, India got divided into dozens of small states. Each Raja, Maharaja, Nawab was trying to rule his own state. And they had created their own armies, and most of the time these armies never got paid. So joining the East India Company army was just to be a good option because they would pay the people or on the first of each month, and they had promised the pension. This was it, and then people never thought what they are doing. So they used these local soldiers against their own people, and in return, what they did was an Indian author has written a very good book. It took away $50 trillion of wealth, stole this wealth from India. They killed all the lions. When they left India, only 4 lions were living in the wild. They killed all the cheetahs. I'll make a video on that thing also, and I will tell you how they stole the boyhood diamond from a 10-year-old boy. So reading their books, just they are trying to whitewash the crime that these British committed in India and in Afghanistan. They're trying to whitewash their this history, and they don't mention those things. India had to suffer 31 famines under the British rule, and something like 200 million people were died on those famines. They were never cared about India. They were inferior, they were childish, they were some. They keep on writing these things, and Churchill openly said they are like children and they will fight among themselves. So the sole purpose was to loot wealth from India. I hope you like this video.